Good morning. Good morning, people out in Wi-Fi land. Good morning, everyone here. If you can, please rise, and we are going to sing Spirit-Led, Spirit-Fed with Andres on drums. I'm Spirit-Led, Spirit-Fed, everywhere and always I'm Spirit-Led. I'm Spirit-Led, Spirit-Fed, everywhere and always I'm Spirit-Led. Flowing like a river of peace, I am nature's wandering child. Love can
seated. Good to see you all. Thank you for being present and here and willing to allow Spirit to move through your body and your mind and your heart so that we can create an energy, a healing energy here, an energy of peace and well-being. So, hello to all of you who are joining us online on Facebook or YouTube. We're so glad you're here. If you would just kind of post a hello, I'm here in the chat, then we can, everybody, create a conversation there, and then we can feel connected with you. You feel connected with us, and we know we're co-creating this experience together. And to my left is the wonderful Pat Webster, our future minister team member, who is our service leader today. And she's going to light the Divine Light candle and also our wonderful prayers for Ukraine candle.
And as we do this, we'll say our invocation, which online you'll see on your screen. And here we go.
Or it's on the sheet in the seat back in front of you if you're new today. Yeah.
There we go. There is only
one presence and one power active in the universe and in my life. God, the good omnipotence.
So it is. And we're going to sing the meditation chant as we allow ourselves to begin that process of going to that holy place of silence
I surrender. I trust and I know. As I surrender, I fall into the arms of love. I surrender. I trust and I know. I fall into the arms of love. I fall into the arms of love.
And we take a deep breath, remembering the everywhereness of Spirit. Remembering that the Spirit outside of us is available right at the tip of our nostril. As we inspire, to take in Spirit, Latin, inspire. And as we exhale in this season of Lent and release, we release anything that stands between us and our contact with the Spirit, the divine, inside of us. Breathing in Spirit as we inhale, connecting with that Spirit inside of us, and releasing as we exhale. And we'll do that one more time. And we remind ourselves to bring our full presence, the full presence of the divine of us, to this moment, this holy, sacred, precious, here and now moment. And in this season of Lent, I don't know about you, but Lynn's been working me. It's probably working all of us. It's in the collective right now. So we're grateful for the opportunity to release those things that no longer serve our connection with the divine of us, that no longer serve our connection in love and oneness with one another all over the globe. And we affirm our faith in divine order about world happenings right now. It's a challenge, and we affirm our faith in that. We affirm our love for ourselves, which is the divine in us' greatest joy to give us. And we affirm the divine in others, even where that's a big stretch. We affirm our oneness. We affirm the coming of spring. And as we settle into this in some time of quiet, let's do that now. And taking what we will from this sacred silence, from any awarenesses or wisdom or love or joy from the divine of us and the divine everywhere that has come in this time. And being here together and online in gratitude for all of this. Because when we affirm these things, in God's no space, no time, they have already manifest, and we're so grateful for how they will unfold here and now in this hour and in our lives to come. And as we stay connected with this divine in us, we speak aloud, softly, or whisper, or inside our hearts, the names of anyone who may be particularly in need of our prayers right now. Ukraine. And we will now hear from our prayer chaplain, Karen Rowe, who will be saying a prayer over the prayer box that sits in the lobby. Anyone is welcome to put your prayers that we will pray over.
Let us pray. Opening our hearts energetically to the hopes and concerns within this box. Holding in collective vision that each and every one may come to know their highest and truest purpose and good, knowing that the divine spirit and the love of God is inside all of them. We see them expressing health, radiant health, peace, healing, freedom from any thought or action that no longer serves them. And an ongoing prosperity in all areas of their lives. we now give thanks for the goodness of God, who is now more fully realized in all of us. And so it is. Amen.
So it is. And we begin to bring our presence back into this room, taking a deep breath of gratitude for being in that sacred space together, opening the eyes, looking around, making contact with the divine in at least one person, knowing that you are also being seen as divine. And I invite you now to join me in saying our vision and mission. Our vision, we envision the divine light awakening in all. Our mission, we center in peace and love. We connect in our hearts with others. We celebrate our journey toward wholeness, and we empower others to experience their spiritual magnificence. And so it is. And we now have our wonderful musician, Ernest, who, Ernest, I just love when you play and sing. It's right from the soul. So here we go.
Get ready, there's a train coming. Don't need no baggages, just get on board. All you need is faith, it is Jesus humming. Don't need no ticket, just hang low. Get ready, there's a train to Jordan, picking up passengers coast to coast. Faith is a key, open doors before them. There's hope for all who love the most. There ain't no room for the hopeless sinner who would hurt all mankind just to save his own. Pity on those whose chances grow thinner. There's no hiding place among the kingdom's throne. So people get ready, there's a train a-coming. Don't need no baggage, just get on board. All you need is faith, the Jesus humming. Don't need no ticket, you just thank the Lord. Don't need no ticket, you just thank the Lord. You just thank the Lord.
Thank you, Ernest. All right. That's it. Getting on that train today. We're all on board. Yeah, get ready, get set, grow. Oop, that's what we're doing today. Maybe you want a little background there, a little encouragement. So last week we were treated to this beautiful analogy of the process of growing into our full potential and the sometimes painful experience of change, of releasing things that just, are no longer serving us. The butterfly, as Pat Webster demonstrated for us, for those of you who saw that, really demonstrated the whole process. It is just a prime example of that kind of metamorphosis. The complete destruction of the old, and the recreation of something brand new in the stillness and in the darkness. And that long process of emerging, of that butterfly emerging, and seems to us, so painful as it kind of struggles to free itself from that chrysalis, but of course, struggle is our word. That's our interpretation. It may not be the experience of the butterfly. In fact, as Pat pointed out, that process of working through the chrysalis is the thing that the butterfly needs to strengthen its wings so that it can fly. And, I was thinking about that, and I was thinking about when I first moved to North Carolina and we went out to the beach. I think it was the Outer Banks, or it could have been Bald Head Island. But the kids were younger, and we saw a turtle boil. Does anybody know what that is? It's a weird word, turtle boil. It refers to when the baby hatchling turtles they all hatch at once, and they're all crawling on top of each other. It looks like the sand is boiling, so I guess that's where it comes from. So we witness this. Did anybody else witness that? It is something. So the mother turtle goes way up on the beach and digs its hole, digs into the sand and lays its eggs. And then it leaves. Sort of go, okay, I'm free now. I've done my work. Okay. And I don't know how many weeks later, all of those eggs begin to hatch. And they all come out, and they're so cute. These little things, there's so many of them, and they're crawling over each other, and they're trying to get out of the hole. And then they use their little paddle arms to move through, and they're awkward, and they're all over each other, and they're trying to get all the way from way up on the beach to the water. And it feels like they're struggling through the sand to get there. And all the while, there are birds of prey that are circling and watching and waiting to swoop down and grab a meal, right? So you just want to take these little things and go, let me help you, baby. Let me bring you over here to the water. But you can't. Because if you did, that turtle would not develop the strength in its arms that it needs to swim when it gets to the water. And you can wave off all of the birds of prey, but then they don't eat. Whenever we interfere with Mother Nature, we mess it up, don't we? There is wisdom there that we're not always aware of, that we don't always understand. And that same wisdom is within us. It's within us. We instinctively know when it's time to release old thinking, old beliefs, old patterns, old ways of being. We instinctively know when it's time to emerge from our cocoon and spread our wings, grow and spread our wings. And it may not be apparent to us consciously, we may not get it consciously, but we could get a clue if, we're going through a period in our life when we're feeling restless or bored or depressed or anxious Or we feel like, God, there's just got to be something more. Or we feel like, what we've been doing is just not working anymore. Then we get a clue. And if we listen to that, we might discover a new possibility. So we want to dive into that and explore that possibility. Really kind of take a look. What is it? What does it look like? What is there for me? What's trying to emerge? And, the visioning process is really good for this. And I have, in many past talks, I've talked about the visioning process. We've actually done some visioning here together. There's some of you who have been here for a while. I think next week I'll talk about it again because I know there's a lot of new people, and we'll explore that whole idea of visioning. But again, in the meantime, we can get a clue of something happening, of a new possibility, if we're getting a sense that it's something that gives us a sense of an expansion, an expanded sense of self. Or if it feels uncomfortable, if we think about moving into that new possibility, if it's uncomfortable, if it scares the bejesus out of us, if it feels like it's totally out of our reach, then we know we're onto something. We know we're onto something. Now, here's the thing. You can't get there from where you are right now, as long as you're holding on to old ways of being. Right? Many people try to reach for that new possibility without first shedding old skin, releasing old ways of thinking, old ways of being. They try to reach the new possibility with old consciousness. Isn't that what the master teacher Jesus warned us not to do? You can't put new wine in old wineskins. Why? Because those, they carried them around in these goatskin bags, the wine, and if it got old, it would crack and leak. Well, that makes sense, right? So it is hard to grow into a more joyous and expansive life while we're holding on to constrictive thinking. So we'll either not reach this new possibility, or we will, but we'll sabotage it when we get there. Which is why a lot of people who win the lottery, very often in 5 years, they've lost everything. They're back down to where they were before because they didn't release that old poverty consciousness. They were trying to go for this without shifting the thinking. And it is our consciousness. It is our consciousness and our subconsciousness, really, that gives rise to our experience in life. It really, I think even more so, it's the universe reflects back to us not necessarily what we're thinking, but what we feel we're worthy of. Right? What we feel we are worthy of. Which is why it is so important to identify old beliefs, old subconscious patterns, old ways of being. It is absolutely vital for our growth. So I'm going to ask you, how many of you are you doing the exercise 2 weeks ago? I gave you in the program, there was a handout, right, and a journal that had some journal prompts, some questions. Right? They're right there. Yeah. And here, Maria's holding them up back there. If you missed that day, there's also some questions, that handout there. If you missed it or you lost it or something, then please at the end of the service go and pick it up on your, or hand it out now. Sure. Thank you. Right. Yeah. But do it, Do the work. is so important. Now, how many of you have signed up for Reverend Nikki's class, the self-awareness class? Ooh. Okay, there's one smart lady back there. Yeah. What about the rest of you? What about those of you online? Would you please put it in the chat if you signed up for this? I'm really surprised that more people have not signed up for this class. Is it 1 o'clock? I think so. Okay, yeah. I think it's on the program, so you know the time. Yeah. This self-awareness class is set up to support you in this whole process of identifying these subconscious things that are holding you back from the process of growing into the full potential, the fullness of life, right? This is where you get supported. And if not that class, the Spiral Dynamics class, is a really good one where Reverend Pat Venema is teaching that class. That'll help. I can stand here and share, from what my experience is, and hopefully it's inspiring. Hopefully you can take something home and chew on it. But if you want to transform, if you want to experience a transformation, you got to do the work. You got to apply the ideas you're hearing in your life and do the actual work to release these old things so that you can allow that thing that wants to emerge in your soul to emerge, to become the fullness of who you are. Frankly, it's the difference between a lot of traditional religions and New Thought. I don't want to overgeneralize, but, in a lot of traditional churches, they kind of tell you what to think, and you take it in. You're not really allowed to ask a lot of questions because that would be doubting your faith, right? So in New Thought, we want you to ask questions. We want you to use your brain and to think and to consciously and to work these things through, right? Because it's in the working through of it that you get to investigate everything we're complicated beings. There's a lot going on. We want to become aware of it and work through it so that we can clear out anything that might be holding us back. So that's the difference. So for my experience, what I can share about this process for me of release, of identifying, releasing, and then allowing more to emerge, it's many times. I've gone through many metamorphoses in my life. Maybe you have too, right? You're like how many people are a completely different person than they were 30 years ago? Yeah, you're in a completely different place. You've got to go through a process, right? So when I decided to go to seminary and become a minister, I had to release a lot of old ideas about who I thought I was. Who I thought I was capable of, what I thought was possible for me. And certainly I had to release the old voice that was inside of me that says, who do you think you are? You're no spiritual master, which my kids would also echo. Any chance they got, they would echo that. So I had a lot of work to do. And releasing that old idea and releasing a lot of just past baggage and things that were really getting in the way. And I remember at the end of that second year, we had this annual retreat, a week-long retreat, where it was an intensive, and you all had to be there, and we were all in a big room, and they asked us to do a forgiveness exercise where we were to forgive our parents. Well, I had already done that. I had been at this for a while. I had done all that work, so, I thought, okay, I'll do this. Well, my God, was I surprised. I discovered a whole layer there that I was completely unaware of was there, that was holding this stuff. it was so important to recognize that and forgive and release. And after that, I felt, oh, I could breathe. I could open to the possibility. I could feel spaciousness and more love and more lightness of being, you know? It's so important. And then, you know, so here's the process for me, is that I identify the ideas, the thoughts, the beliefs, the unconscious patterns, and then I consciously work through them, you know, through journaling or just contemplating and thinking, is this the truth about me? Is this what I think I'm worthy of? Is this really right? Is this, you know, does this fit in my life anymore? You know, so consciously working through them and then energetically releasing it. Energetically releasing it. So I did a lot of crying, a lot of releasing tears, a lot of running. I'm physical. I want to, you know, go out and run in the trails, and where I used to live, we were trails right in the forest. I would go run. And then after kind of that, I got into a more contemplative place where I came here and walked the labyrinth. And, ooh, that was pivotal for me. So we really must get the whole self involved. Spirit, mind, and body. Look, every layer of our being, every level of our being is engaged when these things are formed, right? So every level of our being needs to be engaged in the release of it. So let's sort of do this together right now, if you would. All right, so let's say that you've done the work of identifying at least something. I think you could probably think of something. Does anybody not have something, some old limiting belief that they would like to release, that you know of, right? Everybody's got something. All right, things that would kind of hold you back, right? And so what you want to do is spend some time thinking about it, journaling it, going through, you know, consciously aware, and connect with your inner wisdom and allow the inner wisdom to speak to you. Is this really true of me? Has this ever been true of me? Does this still fit into where I want to? Is this holding me back? Is this preventing me from growing into the self that I know is possible for me? Is this what I think I'm worthy of? Is there more? Right? Identify that. And then you want to connect with your inner power. The power of power. This is your spiritual authority. And it might be right here. Bring your attention right here. This is at the throat chakra. This is where our power of self-authority is. And when your focus is here, you know, from the awareness that you are, because you are an expression of the infinite divine, you have the power to create your universe. Right? You have that power. So engage this. Engage the spiritual authority, this power of power. And affirm, with that full power, affirm the release of any limiting ideas, any unloving thoughts, any self-criticism, any old patterns, any resentments, any fears, any old ideas of what you thought you were worthy of. Affirm the release of that. And then you want to breathe it out. Maybe make a sound, right? And shake it out. Okay, so we'll do this together. If you want to stand up, if you can. If not, you can do it from your seat. Okay, just focus right now on something that you want to release. Put your focus here on your throat chakra. This is the full power. You are a co-creator in your world, right? So engage this self-authority, and we're going to affirm the release. So affirm with me. I release any and all limiting beliefs. I release any and all limiting beliefs. I release any resentment, any fears. I release any resentment and any fears. I release anything that is holding me back from being my full self. I release anything that is holding me back from being my full self. Okay, now, breathe it out, and you might want to shake a little or move through your hands and in and out. Ooh. Okay, breathe in. You feel a sense of spaciousness, right? There's space now for spirit. There's space for spirit. There's space for more of an awareness of that new possibility that is seeking to emerge through and as you. And open to that space. Keep breathing and go ahead and sit down. Now you might want to do this, as many times as you feel is necessary. You may, this was new and you're in public, you may not, if you're home by yourself, you might feel a little freer to, really let go and do it, right? And then get physical. Go for a walk in nature, honestly. That just really, there's something really healing about that, right? Be in nature and healing. And then when you feel it energetically releasing, then you're ready to start opening to that idea that spirit has, right? And walking the labyrinth here is so wonderful, or the medicine wheel, right? Or the serenity trail. We have so many resources here that are here, free, available for you. And everybody resonates with something, some people resonate with the medicine wheel, some people with the labyrinth, some people with just walking the trails. So you want to find what works for you and do that, right? And then next week, we're going to talk about building that new consciousness. Now that there's space, there's a level playing field, an open playing field. We're going to start exploring that new vision that wants to be birthed and building new consciousness, which is we're building the muscles, right? We're building spiritual muscles here. All of this is about building the spiritual muscles that is essential for us to be able to spread our wings and soar. Right? Namaste. Turn it over to Ernest.
Sometimes in our life, we all have pain. We all have sorrow, but if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong. I'm your friend. I have to carry on. It won't be long. Someone to lean on. Please swallow your pride. If I have faith, you need tomorrow. For
time when we have the opportunity to give back to our community that gives so much to us. And all the ways that we can give back are on the screen. There's text and all kinds of ways. And so, if you will, remembering that this comes from that place of love in our hearts, this desire and urge to give to this community that gives so much to us. And we know that in doing that, we are exercising the law of prosperity and abundance, where we get back magnified what we put out, the energy that we put out. And if you will, you can take one of the, however it is that you give. If you're here in person, you can take that little green support card or a little envelope out of the back of your seat. Or you just your hand, your heart, because I always forget to do that when I'm up here. And put it to your heart, and we're going to bless these gifts that we're about to give. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, all that I receive, and all that I am. So it is.
I'm happy, I'm joyful, I am fulfilled. I'm happy, I'm joyful, I am fulfilled. I'm aware of all my blessings, so much love can't sit still. I'm happy, I'm joyful, I am fulfilled. I'm happy, I'm joyful, I am fulfilled. I'm happy, I'm joyful, I am fulfilled. I'm aware of all my blessings, so much good it can't sit still. I'm happy, I'm joyful, I am joyful, I am happy, I'm joyful, I am fulfilled. I'm aware of all my blessings, so much peace it can't sit still. I'm happy, I'm joyful, I am
Woohoo! Feeling that energy of love and excitement and joy moving through you from spirit, through your heart, and out through your hands. If you would direct them this way, and let's just feel that energy of love multiplying right here in this moment. Blessing these gifts, these tithes, these offerings, knowing that they are here to support this community so that we can continue to be here and grow and flourish. And that law of circulation, it comes back to the giver, pressed down, multiplied, and running over. Thank you, Spirit, and so it is. It is. Yes. So Maria's bringing the prayer box back out to the foyer, and next to the prayer box are some prayer request sheets. If you too would like to have prayers prayed over in the service, you can fill that out and drop it in the box. And so I want to just reach out and see if maybe there may be somebody who has come here for the first time today, who might be visiting for us today. If you would raise your hand, and Mary will come by with a packet of information that has, hello dear, we're glad to have you here. Thank you. There's a card on the outside. If you'll fill out both of those sides and return it to one of the greeters, there's a gift for you in that. And we usually have some refreshments out on the back deck after the service. So that's a really good time for us to get to know you, you to get to know us, and to explore even further in fellowship. All right, one more time. The man, Ernest.
There's so many songs about rainbows. What's on the other side? Rainbows are visions, only illusion. Rainbows have nothing to hide. Though we've been told and some choose to believe it, I know they're wrong. Wait and see. Someday you'll find it, a rainbow's connection, dreamers and me. Who said that every wish would be heard and answered when wish upon the star? Someone thought that it, someone believed it, someone has done so far. What's so amazing that keeps us stargazing? What would you think you might see? A rainbow's connection, and me, all of us under a spell. We know that it's probably magic. Have you been half asleep? Have you heard voices? I've heard them calling my name. Is this a sweet sound? Calls the young sailor. Voices might be one and the same. I heard it too many times to ignore it. It's something that I'm supposed to be. Rainbow's connection, and me. And
Along with growing comes the rainbows. Yeah. So this is that time now when we get to see all the ways our community gives back to us. First of all, with these wonderful spiritual explorer classes that are going on, self-awareness, spiral dynamics, personal metaphysics. Is it personal metaphysics? Practical metaphysics. Personal, practical. Yeah. Gosh. So signing up for those, I just can't tell you what a gift to yourself it will be.
And they have until midnight tonight, right?
Until midnight tonight, because they start tomorrow.
That's right.
They start tomorrow. This is the week. Yeah. I've started reading Paul Hasselbeck's book, Point of Power. You talk about a growth experience. You talk about a total, personal, scary, big metamorphosis. And if you have any of those things Paul would be a wonderful person to work with, and Nikki is a psychotherapist, clinical psychologist. You couldn't ask for have a minister and a psychologist teaching a class in self-awareness. And then I took an intro to Pat Veenam with spiral dynamics. My gosh, it helps me understand so much. You couldn't lose with any of them. Take them all. We are also looking for a Sunday soloist, and there's a flyer in the back. And so keep your ear to the ground, or if you're listening and you think you know somebody or are somebody, please call our office or see it online at ucp.org. org.com. I always get that wrong.
Unity Chapel Hill.
I've got to get that. unitychapelhill.com, org. unitychapelhill.org. I'll get it right soon. Also, here's wonderful news. We are hiring a youth director. And the wonderful thing is, we're hoping by Easter or next month that you can bring your children. And right now, Mary Angela is going to do this on a temporary basis until we can hire someone, hopefully by April. So we really want to grow our community with young people. We want the life and joy that they bring, and the youth and the exuberance. And so I'm just so tickled about that. There's lots of ways to stay connected with us during the week. There's Facebook, Instagram, our YouTube channel, our monthly newsletter, and those should be on your screen if you're online, and also on our webpage, and I think on the bulletin. So take advantage of that. Every now and then, the little Monday morning affirmations, and give me such a boost. Last week, it was exactly the one I needed to hear for the week. We also have a wonderful thing that's part of, that you can take advantage of here, or if you're seeing us online, you can do that with an email, and that is our 3-minute miracle. We have, affirmative prayer is, I think, the most valuable tool that, for me, in my whole Unity experience. And we have this morning Karen Rowe, who is here to pray with us. Where do you want to wait? Out in the foyer? Okay, Karen, if you want to pray, and lots of people linger out in the foyer, so come up and identify yourself, and hopefully take a number. Hope lots of us will take advantage of that. And so do that. And if you want someone to, if you're online and you want someone to pray with you, send an email to prayer@unitychapelhill.org and put your phone number in, and one of the members of our prayer team will call you. Alton Jean, do you need a ride home today? They need a ride home today. So if you want to take advantage of this opportunity to be with these wonderful members of our community, do that. And and hopefully, usually the next part in our program is the children's welcome song. Hopefully we'll be singing that again before long. Yeah, and doing the blessing of our children. So if you will, stand and join with me in saying our prayer of protection and singing our wonderful Unity Peace song. Our prayer of protection. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
All are we.
Hallelujah, and so it is.